That was a tough game. But one of the things we learned is that failure is not final. All this week, Coach McQueen and the team have been figuring out what they're going to do to succeed next Friday night and for the rest of the season. They've been analyzing those tapes. When we study God's Word, we learn the same thing. Failure is not final. We hit a bump in the road, and we pick ourselves up and figure how we can do it better the next time. We study God's Word at First Baptist Church for that purpose. You don't pass up an opportunity to recover. If you want to receive God's blessings and recover from the bumps and bruises of life, come to First Baptist Church in downtown Temple, 8:20 or 10:55 Sunday morning. We'll open God's Word and find His divine solutions for the challenges and problems of your life.
This is Temple Wildcat Football 1992. Brought to you by Johnson Brothers Ford, King's Daughters Hospital, Cafe on the Square in Georgetown, Harper Talosic Funeral Home, and Jim Tranum GMC Trucks.
Everybody, and welcome to Wildcat Stadium in Temple, Texas for the 1992 homecoming game against the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. Hi everyone, I'm Gordon Marshall along with Mark Jermstead here to bring you tonight's game and what is going to prove to be a big, important District 13 5A matchup, Mark.
Well, it really is, Gordon. Temple Wildcats have a three-game set to see who makes the playoffs, and I know Coach McQueen not only wants to win tonight, he wants to play extremely well in the process.
Well, Copperas Cove comes in tonight's game with a 2-5 overall record and a 0-2 mark in District 13 5A play. What do the Bulldogs have to do to match up against the number 4 ranked Wildcats tonight?
Well, Cove is a little different than they've been in the past in that they like to run the football, not throw the football. So they're going to want to establish the run early in the ball game. On defense, they like to come up and challenge you and play aggressive against the run, and they've been very effective against the run so far this season.
Of course, the Wildcats entered tonight's game ranked 4th after a disappointing loss last week in Killeen to the Killeen Kangaroos, and a very important game. What do the Wildcats have to do to get back the intensity that they had mid-season?
Well, the Wildcats played extremely well on defense last week, and I think that's going to have to continue. They've improved each and every week. On offense, the Wildcats are going to have to be able to throw the football tonight against this tough, in-your-face Cove defense. And also the Wildcats' running game is going to continue to need to take advantage of opportunities that they get.
Okay, we'll be back in just a moment for the opening kickoff. It's homecoming here in Temple, Texas. There's a lot of pageantry and excitement in the air. We're looking forward to a great game. We'll be back right after this.
What's different about King Saber?
We're your hometown grocer.
And you can depend on us for the freshest meats and produce in town at famous King Saber prices.
Special cut of meat, no problem.
You're the king at King Saber, so we offer check cashing, money orders, and next-day film developing.
And custom party trays.
And at King Saber, you can rent the latest first-run movies at the best price in town. Remember, when you want fresh for less, stay with your hometown grocer, King Saber, in Temple and Killeen.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called one pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
Welcome back, everybody, to Wildcat Stadium. The Temple High School Band has just finished playing our national anthem, and as we look to the west end of the stadium, Mark, we see for the first time this year, the wind does not look like it's going to be the factor. The flag is hanging limp by the flagpole in the west end of Wildcat Stadium.
Well, that's right, Gordon. It should be a great night for the passing game this evening.
It's been a great season for weather. This is the 8th week, and we've had just beautiful weather all 8 weeks of this 1992 season. And here come the number 4 ranked Temple Wildcats. The Wildcats looking to rebound After a disappointing loss last week at Killeen, it dropped their district record to 1-1. Overall 6-1, still ranked number 4 in the state of Texas in Class 5A. And they're looking forward to a good outing, regain some of that intensity. I know the offense is ready to get on the field, Mark. They, I'm sure, had to be disappointed after last week's effort.
Well, one of the great things about football is the opportunity to come back next week and play another game. And I'm sure you're right. I'm sure the young men for the Wildcats couldn't wait to get on this football field this evening.
Copperas Cove comes into tonight's game 0-2 in district play. They've lost 2 district games, so 2-5 overall. They won 2 games early in the season and have tapered off somewhat, are still looking for their first district win. We talked about it earlier, Mark, the Killeen Kangaroos last week. We're not going to dwell on last week, but although we need to mention the fact that defensively, Killeen was very successful in their game plan. Do you think that Copperas Cove would try to emulate some of the stuff that Killeen did last week defensively to try to slow down this Wildcat offense?
Well, I think they will, and I think to some extent that's their style anyway, so I don't think it's any major departure from what they like to try to do.
Danny Magana tees the ball up. Be kicking from west to east here in Wildcat Stadium, and this game is underway. Ball is going to be fielded at the 2-yard line by Frank Crothers.
Well, Cove tries a little trickery early in the ball game to get something going, and the Wildcats were fortunate. They had a fumble in the backfield, and they start from their 14-yard line.
Okay, the Wildcat defense marches onto the field. Jonathan Berry, the weak side linebacker for the Wildcats, is out with a injured knee and is being replaced by number 29, Richard Mata, this week. Cove starts out, 3 wide receivers left, a 1-back set. Crothers in motion to the right side. And that's number 23, that is Mickey Thompson, the 165-pound senior who is brought down after a short gain.
One thing to look for tonight, Frank Crothers had 117 yards last week against Ellison. The Cove Bulldogs played Ellison to a 0-0 tie at halftime of last week's ball game before losing 27-13.
They have been playing well. They've played some people real well, and in the latter parts of the game seem to have it slip through their fingers. 2nd down and 8 from their own 15-yard line. A pitch to Thompson, the left side, and he's going to be wrapped up after a loss on the play.
Excellent support that time by Richard Mata, and I believe that was Michael Moffitt coming in to make the play. Of course, Richard Mata has played quite a bit this year at linebacker. Jonathan Berry's done a great job all season, and hopefully he'll be back for the playoffs, but it's nice to have somebody like Richard stepping in.
That'll bring up a 3rd down and 11 for Cove from their own 13-yard line. 10 minutes and 45 seconds left in the first quarter. First 3rd down of tonight. Chris Altum drops back. He's going to throw almost complete to Josh Morrell, and the ball is going to be ruled incomplete by the referee standing right there. And that'll bring up a 4th down for the Cove Bulldogs.
Fine effort that time by Josh. He almost was able to make that catch. And back deep for the Wildcats to receive the punt tonight will be Derek Bates and Damian Johnson. Of course, Derek is playing quite a bit of defense ever since Atkinson was injured week before last against Waco.
Well, the Temple defense is a great rush put on by the Temple punt return team, and it's going to be a short kick. I don't know if he blocked it or not, but it's going to be very short, and it's going to roll dead at the Cove 31-yard line. A great effort by the Temple punt return team, and it's attempting to block the kick. I don't know if they got a hand on it or not.
Well, I don't believe they got it, but Clarence Marion got very close to getting that football. Of course, Clarence already has 1 punt block this season to start off the Tyler Lee game. Great field position for the Wildcats. This is exactly what they wanted to have happen early in the ball game.
Exactly right. The Wildcat defense starting off by shutting down the Cove offense, and now the Temple Wildcat offense on the field at their Copperas Cove 31-yard line to give to Watson. He breaks the tackle, is going to cut back and gain 5 on the play.
Gerald running extremely hard. Of course, Gerald has had 3 100-yard games or more the last 3 weeks and has got a 9.4-yard average, so he's running extremely well.
And that'll bring up a 2nd down and 5 from the 26-yard line. 9 minutes and 48 seconds left in the first quarter. If Woodson goes underneath center for the count, it'll be a counter play. Give to Watson. He's going to be wrapped up. A great job for the interior of the Copperas Cove defensive line. Number 62, Austin Ledger there from his middle linebacker position, along with some other Copperas Cove Bulldogs. Mark?
Well, Austin Ledger is returning starter, defensive captain, a senior, 215 pounds, and does a great job at middle linebacker for the Cove Bulldogs.
And he stopped Temple's Gerald Watson for no gain. That'll make it 3rd down and 5 from the Cove 26-yard line.
The Wildcats are in 4-down territory.
Here's an option pitch to Watson. He's going to be tripped up and stopped short of the 1st down after a gain of 2.
Well, as we mentioned earlier in the ballgame, Covix is extremely tough against the run. They're number 2 in the district in rushing defense, so they're very effective at what they try to do against the run.
Doing a good job against the Wildcat offense. It's 4th down and about 2.5 from the Cove 23.5-yard line, and Adrian Woodson looks to Coach Larry Haynes as he signals in the 4th down play. The Wildcats will go for it. They send 3 wide receivers to the left side. Gerald Watson in the fullback position behind Woodson. He's going to bootleg out the left, and he's going to throw it. He's got a man wide open. It's complete to Dale Williams. A 28-yard touchdown strike from quarterback Adrian Woodson to number 25, Dale Williams. A beautiful bootleg, a beautiful throw, and a beautiful catch.
Well, it was an excellent football play. Anytime you run the bootleg, it's a great play. Adrian lofted the ball perfectly to be sure it was catchable. Very good judgment, fine throw, fine catch, and the Wildcats are off to a great start.
He looked like he almost thought about running it, but Dale Williams was so wide open in the end zone he couldn't pass that one up and lofted it in for a 28-yard score. Temple's Danny Magana tacks on the extra point, so with 8 minutes and 16 seconds left in the first quarter, Temple Wildcats 7, Copperas Cove Bulldogs 0. We'll be back right after this.
The GMC Safari is already loaded with the largest standard V6 in its class and 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. And now, we've dropped in a few extras, like reclining seats, air conditioning, available front and rear, a killer stereo, Scotch guard, tinted glass, and lots more. Now, how do we load you into a Safari? With this limited time cashback offer.
See Jim Tranum, Cleo Bay, or Bolton McLaren today.
Welcome back, everybody. 8 minutes and 16 seconds left in the opening quarter at Wildcat Stadium, where the Temple Wildcats have jumped out to a 7-0 lead, and a script that Coach Bob McQueen could not draw up any better. The Temple defense stopping the Copperas Cove Bulldogs on their initial possession, and the Wildcat offense taking it in. The kickoff by Danny Magana to Crothers. Crothers is scrambling, and he's going to be met inside the 20 by a host of Wildcats.
Beautiful job of staying at home by the kickoff team that time. Mark Churchwell, number 75, in there on the tackle, but excellent discipline on the kickoff team. That time they tried the fake reverse. The first kickoff, they tried the handoff reverse, but they faked it, and the Wildcats were right there to make the play. Again, Cove starts deep in their own territory on the 17-yard line.
8 minutes and 5 seconds left in the first quarter. Copperas Cove 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line in an offset eye. Split right, and here's the counter to Crothers. He's going to be up over the 20-yard line.
That play didn't look like it made a whole lot of yardage, but I believe they picked up 3 or 4.
Going to bring up a 2nd down.
Interesting no huddle on offense. They went right to the second play by the Cove Bulldogs, trying to catch Temple off guard.
Quarterback Chris Altham calling the play at the line of scrimmage. And we've got a flag down on the play.
I believe they may not have had enough people on the line of scrimmage, the Cove Bulldogs, and that may be an illegal procedure penalty.
So that'll move the ball back inside the 20 once again.
Well, we heard that Chris Alton, number 11, the junior quarterback for Copperas Cove, likes to call plays on the line of scrimmage, and early in the ball game, that looks exactly what Cove is trying to do.
Back all the way back to the 16. That'll make it 2nd down and 12 from that point. A wing left by the Bulldogs. One back set, 2 wide receivers, and Alton rolls left. Is going to set to throw. It's going to be complete.
Beautiful catch.
Number 17, Josh Farrell.
Beautiful catch. Caught it with his hands, and here they come. No huddle on offense. The Wildcats are going to have to be ready on defense, and I'm sure Cove would like to take an opportunity to take a shot deep at some point during the ball game during the confusion of resetting the line of scrimmage.
That 14-yard pass completion gives Copperas Cove a 1st down at their own 31-yard line. Quarterback Chris Alton once again calling the play at the line of scrimmage. They're an offset eye once again. Here's the counter. That's a give to Nicky Thompson around the left side, who slips, loses his footing.
Tony Lott and Richard Mata in there on the play.
After a gain of about 4.
Cove looks like they've got a little something going here. That picked up about 4 yards, as you said, Gordon. And Cove, of course, last year played Temple to a 7-3 halftime score. Temple being up at halftime slightly. Temple went on to win that football game 27-3, but Cove played Temple extremely strong in the first half.
2nd down and 6, and Nicky Thompson running hard over the right side, loses his helmet on the play as he gets what looks to be the 1st down. Yes, it is. 1st down number 2 for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs here in the 1st quarter. 6 minutes and 11 seconds left, and they continue the no-huddle attack of the Temple Wildcat defense.
Gordon, his helmet was on the 37 that time, and he was on the 42.
A big lick in there as he ground out close to 7 yards on the last carry for Nicky Thompson. 1st and 10 Bulldogs. And here's almost looks like a busted play. Crothers around the left side is going to be stopped after a gain of 2. Another flag down on the play.
Tony Lott and Dana President in there on the tackle.
And officials will talk about it first.
Cove has had a difficult time moving the football so far this year. They've only been averaging about 44 yards via the pass, so they've really relied on the run so far this season.
And that's an illegal motion penalty signal against the Cove Bulldogs. And it's going to be accepted by the Wildcats. That'll push them back to their own 36-yard line, still 1st down. 5 minutes and 45 seconds left in the 1st quarter. 1st down and 15 for the Bulldogs. Chris Alton sprints left again, is looking over the middle, in and out of the hands of John Ward, tight end, just a little bit tall, incomplete. That'll bring up the 2nd down and 15 from the 36.
Well, again, Michael Moffitt in there on defense for the Temple Wildcats. Cove Bulldogs have 4 players on offense playing both ways in the football game. Of course, this late in the season, it may not be a whole lot of a factor. It's very pleasant. It's not very hot this evening.
2nd down and 10. Cove in a no-huddle look, and we've got movement once again. Flags everywhere, and a dead ball infraction of illegal procedure against the Cove Bulldogs. And that'll push them back 5 more yards, back to the 31-yard line. 2nd down and 20. And Copperas Cove is going to call a timeout and try to regroup. And we'll take a quick timeout, too. We'll be back right after this.
King's Daughters Hospital announces something really worth celebrating. It's the Women's Connection, a special program at King's Daughters, especially especially for women, with healthcare services, seminars, classes, support groups, and much more. Even a special information line just for women, the Women's Connection. All kinds of services for all kinds of women. To find out more, call the Women's Connection today.
We're back with 5 minutes and 19 seconds left in the first quarter. Temple leading 7-0 over the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. Copperas Cove has moved the ball the first quarter, but has been hurt by the penalty. They've had a series of 5-yard infractions, 2 on this particular drive, and they face a second down and 20 from their own 31-yard line. Autumn sprints right. He's going to be pressured. He's going out in the flat, in and out of the hands of Frank Crothers. Had a little bit of room out there, Mark. He had a man open
he did,
number 20, Frank Crothers.
He did, Gordon, but Jared Mackey was coming on a blitz that time and really put pressure on the quarterback. Outstanding play by Jared, made him hurry.
And that stops the clock. 5 minutes and 16 seconds. Cove again, a no-huddle offense. Quarterback Chris Altum looks to the sideline and begins to call the play. They're in a twin set to the right side this time, in an offset eye. It's third down and 20 from their own 31-yard line. And Alton will sprint right and throw. It's going to be over everybody's head out in the right flat, intended for Josh Morrell. That will bring up a fourth down. The Temple defense will have forced Copperas Cove's second punt of the first quarter.
Greg Steele, Michael Moffitt, Derek Bates back there on defense for the Wildcats.
Derek Bates and Damian Johnson standing on their own 35-yard line, awaiting the Cove punt by Crothers, and he's going to have this one come off the side of his foot again. It's going to hit on the Temple 42 and bounce up to the 44. Josh Morrell downs it at that point, and once again, the Wildcat offense has great field position. They'll take over first and 10 at their own 44-yard line with 4 minutes and 58 seconds left in the first quarter. Quarterback Adrian Woodson so far is only thrown one pass, but it was a 28-yard strike to Dale Williams. He's 1 for 1 tonight, and I know the passing game is going to be emphasized tonight by the Wildcats. Here's a toss sweep to Delarius Wilson, and it's going to be lost, and it's a big pileup at the Temple 32-yard line. I don't think Delarius ever had control of that ball. That's a new look. That's a toss sweep by this Wildcat offense, and the Copperas Cove Bulldogs have recovered at the Temple 32-yard line in a big, big turnover down in the Temple end of the field. Copperas Cove takes over at that point. 4 minutes and 48 seconds left in the first quarter.
Big break for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. Who was that on the football? I believe it might have been Austin Leger for the Cove Bulldogs. This will set them up with excellent field position. These are the kinds of opportunities that Cove's going to need to take advantage of this evening.
Well, once again, the Wildcat defense back on the field, this time with their backs against the wall. Copperas Cove has it first and 10 at the Temple 32-yard line following our first turnover of the night. Here's the pitch. Nicky Thompson is going to be wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Number 88, Danny President, turning him inside where he's met by a host of Wildcat defenders.
Richard Mata in there on the play, as well as Don Shea Martin. Don Shea is playing defensive tackle this evening, along with Joel Amos is in there right now. Mark Churchwell at one end and Dana President at the other end. The Wildcat linebackers this evening are Priest Thomas, Jared Mackey, and Richard Mata. And again, the secondary, Derek Bates, Greg Steele, Michael Moffitt, and Tony Lott for the Temple Wildcats.
So that'll bring up a second down. Still over, just a little bit over 10 yards needed for the Bulldogs. And here's a draw, sprint draw, and he's going to be smothered. Number 87, Y. Priest Thomas, quickly in the backfield for the Wildcats, as were other blue-clad defenders.
Well, the Wildcats really have had a character this year of rising to the occasion whenever they've needed to, and this certainly is a big play for the Cove Bulldogs, getting a chance to get this deep in Temple's into the field. So, again, the Temple Wildcats defense will try to turn the tide here and get the ball back.
Third down and 15 yards needed for the Bulldogs. 3 minutes and 28 seconds left in the first quarter. They're on Temple's 37-yard line. They're looking for the 22. It's over the middle, and it is incomplete. Intended for Ricky Flake, the 155-pound sophomore wide receiver for the Cove Bulldogs, and that's fourth down. And I suppose if you're Copperas Cove, this is 4-down zone, Mark. It's 3 minutes and 19 seconds left in the first quarter. Nope. Coach Hamrick looks to be sitting in the punt team. This will be punt number 3 for the Cove Bulldogs here in the first quarter.
I believe they're lining up for a field goal. Of course, early in the ball game, Gordon, we were watching early before the ball game started. Cove's kicker kicking, and he had the leg to kick the ball 50 yards. This will be a 53-yard field goal.
And it's going to be no good. It's going to be short and off to the right. So the defense, once again, comes up with a big play when they have to. They have steadily improved, gotten better and better each week. Boy, hats off to the Wildcat defense once again. They come in with their backs against the wall after that turnover and get the ball right back for the Temple offense. Quarterback Adrian Woodson leads the Wildcat offense back on the field, and they'll take over at their own 36-yard line, 1st and 10. Here's the give to Gerald Watson. He's up over the 40, close to the 42-yard line. That will be a gain of 6 yards and bring up a 2nd down and 4.
Gordon, the Wildcats have averaged about 359 yards a game this year on offense, and about 61% of those yards have been via the run and 39% against with the pass. And I know Coach McQueen would probably like to get a little more higher percentage started this week with the passing game.
2nd down and 4 for the Wildcats. It's their own 42. The Watson, the ball carrier, once again is going to slip as he made his cut around the 45-yard line. It's going to be just short of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd down, and let's call it a yard with 2 minutes, 27 seconds left in the first quarter.
I believe that was Steve Hammond, the senior 185-pounder for Cove on defense.
Damian Johnson split wide left. Dale Williams split wide right. Gerald Watson is the one back. This is Adrian Woodson on a quarterback sneak, and he is going to go, and he's across the goal line. Touchdown, Temple Wildcats.
Well, just a great play, a great call. Again, there was no nose man on defense over the center, and when you run a split 4 like Cove does, sometimes in short yardage that can hurt you. That may have been an automatic. Adrian may have just decided it was there and took it, but just an outstanding play, fine execution by the Wildcats.
Great adjustment and a great run, and Adrian Woodson demonstrating a little bit of speed there. He outran the entire Copperas Cove secondary, 55 yards, making the score 13-0. And Danny Magana will attempt the point after. It's up, and it's right through the upright with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first quarter. Now the score reads the Temple Wildcats 14, the Copperas Cove Bulldogs 0. We'll be back right after this break.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called One Pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
Welcome back to Wildcat Stadium. The Temple Wildcats will kick off for the 3rd time here in the first quarter, And quarterback Adrian Woodson is just, as Mark mentioned, what looked to be an audible, or an automatic actually, a quarterback sneak for 55 yards. Looks awfully good from up here. And Danny Magana kicks off and will kick deep once again. This time picked up by Nicky Thompson, number 23, who hands off to Maurice White, and he's going to be stacked up, brought down inside the 15, and for the 3rd time, the Wildcat kickoff team pins the Copperas Cove Bulldogs inside their own 20-yard line following the kickoff.
Well, I know there was a host of Wildcats in there that time on the tackle. Warwick Bonds was in there, number 16, and number 23, James Wright for the Wildcats were down there on the kickoff. And again, the Wildcats do an excellent job of pinning Cove deep in their own territory.
There's a minute and 55 seconds left in the first quarter. Copperas Cove 1st and 10 on their own 13-yard line, trailing 14-0. The pitch is to Thompson, who turns it up over the 15, close to the 18. Good carry, good pickup of 5 yards for Copperas Cove's Nicky Thompson, senior 165-pound halfback for the Bulldogs.
Well, this field position Copperas Cove has had thus far in the first half certainly has had to limit what they can do offensively. They've got their senior quarterback in, Whitney Cole, number 5, in the ball game at quarterback.
And he's going to give to White, Maurice White. No, excuse me, that's Nicky Thompson again. Over the right side this time. Looks to be very close, and it is signaled a first down by the referee.
Whitney cut his hand this summer and has been really unable to play until last week. He played a little bit. But he's in there this evening and was expected to play some tonight.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at their own 23-yard line. The pitch to Thompson this time cut down after a gain of 2. Temple's number 60 middle linebacker Jared Mackey there.
Great penetration that time by Richard Mata as well, number 29.
And the no huddle once again. Whitney Cole looks to the Copperas Cove bench, looks for the play.
I'm sure this is something the Wildcat coaches, Coach Don Davis and the defensive coaches, worked on all week long, the no huddle offense, but it is very unusual to see in high school football.
And we've got another procedure penalty with 21 seconds left in the first quarter. That'll make it 2nd down and about 13 for the Dogs from their own 20-yard line.
Well, up the road this evening, about 35 miles, is a very important ball game in this district. The Killeen Kangaroos take on the Waco Lions.
Of course, if the Kangaroos win that one, they will definitely be in the driver's seat to claim the District 13 5A championship. However, should the Waco Lions win that one, it would be quite an interesting race, and that's going to end the first quarter here at Wildcat Stadium. The Temple Wildcats, ranked number 4 in the state of Texas in Class 5A, enjoying a 14-0 lead over the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. We'll take a break and be back right after this.
Gee Willie's now has the most exciting game in Central Texas. QB1, the interactive TV game where you play along during live professional and college football games and can compete for valuable prizes nationally. Large portions of great food and a lively and entertaining atmosphere sure to please the entire family. Gee Willie's, with the largest big screen TV in Central Texas and the only place you can play along with QB1, the interactive TV game. Gee Willie's, just east of the mall on the Loop, Temple.
Welcome back, everyone, to Wildcat Stadium, homecoming 1992. And congratulations to Mindy Hurley, this year's homecoming queen, and the rest of her court also. It's a 2nd down and about 13 for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs as Temple comes on a blitz, and they have a guy in the flat, and he's forced out of bounds by Michael Moffitt. That's number 34, Justin Brown, who slipped out of the backfield, and quarterback, is that Cole still in there, slipped it over the defender's head on a blitz, and good yardage picked up by the Bulldogs.
Fine execution by Copperas Cove that time. Temple was coming on a blitz and were able to hit the back in the flat, and a fine play by Michael Moffitt, or it would have been even bigger yardage.
So 1st and 10 from their own 36-yard line. Cole back to pass. He drops back, lofts one. It's going to be complete. That's number 10, John Ward, catching the ball right at midfield and forced out of bounds. At that point, another first down. 2 pass plays and 2 first downs by the Copperas Cove Bulldogs in this drive. They move to midfield. Coach Jerry Hamrick gives quarterback Whitney Cole instructions as he passes by the Copperas Cove bench, and he brings the play back on the field and signals at the line of scrimmage. No huddle offense by the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. And here's a counter give to Nikki Thompson. Good yardage over the right side. Good for about 6 yards. 2nd down and 4 from inside the Temple 45.
Well, Cove is responding very well, being behind 14-0. Whitney Cole appears to be throwing the football very well here.
Did a good job of maintaining his balance, almost slipped down, was able to reset and fire for a 15-yard completion to the tight end on the play before. 2nd down and 4 for the Bulldogs. Here's a sweep to the left side. Once again, Nikki Thompson is going to be just short of the first down with another flag down on the play.
I believe we may have either a holding penalty or illegal use of the hands against the Copperas Cove Bulldogs.
Holding it is. And another costly penalty for the Bulldogs. They have been hurt badly here in the first half by penalty. The referee discussing the situation with the Wildcat defense. And, of course, they're going to accept it. That will push it back 10 yards. Back into Copperas Cove's own end of the field. Back to their own 46.5-yard line, where it will be 2nd down and 13.5 yards for the first down. Quarterback Cole sprints right, fires over the middle. It's going to be complete. A great catch by Ricky Flake, and he's going to have what looks to be the first down.
Super play. Super catch by Ricky Flakes, number 4. And Ricky Flakes has 4.5 speed, and earlier this possession they tried to send him deep. So look for Ricky Flakes with excellent speed to possibly try to go deep on the Temple Wildcats.
So the Cove Bulldogs overcome a big holding penalty and pick up that first down just inside the Wildcat 40-yard line. First down and 10. 10 minutes and 40 seconds left before halftime. The Bulldogs trail 14-0, and this is Nikki Thompson on the right side for a gain of 1. Priest Thomas there to make the stop. 2nd down and about 9.
Also, Joel Amos in there on the tackle, got great penetration. Joel's doing a little double duty action tonight on offense and defense.
And quarterback Whitney Cole brings the Bulldogs up to the line of scrimmage and calls the play there. He fakes the draw and sprints right, and it's going to be incomplete. Batted down by a defender, I believe. Mark, did you see the...
It was either Joel Amos or Don Shea Martin. I believe it was Joel Amos.
Joel Amos. Great play. Getting his hands up, getting in the face of quarterback Whitney Cole.
Well, I believe that's the 2nd week in a row that Joel has batted a ball down from the line of scrimmage. I know he batted one down earlier this season.
3rd down and 9. Big 3rd down play for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs, who have put on an impressive drive here to start the 2nd quarter. Cole drops back, straight drop back, looking over the middle, and it's going to be incomplete. Good pressure. Joel Amos pressuring quarterback Whitney Cole. Maybe hurt him just a little bit. The ball is short and incomplete, and it's 4th down and 9 still needed from the Wildcat 39.
Well, fine coverage by Derek Bates also on that play. And it looks like the Copperas Cove Bulldogs are going to punt the football in this situation. Although number 31 is coming on the field, the kicker, Corky Rodriguez. So they may take a timeout and decide what they want to do here.
Well, been quite an impressive drive by the Copperas Cove Bulldogs to start this second quarter. They've mixed up the run and mixed up the pass. Actually, quarterback Whitney Cole very successful through the air except for those last two attempts in this drive.
Well, this will be, if they try the field goal, this will be about a 55 or 56-yard attempt for the Cove Bulldogs, which would just be a phenomenal kick. I don't know on Wildcat Field if I've ever seen a kick that far.
Of course, the wind is not a factor. The American flag is just limp on the flagpole at the west end of Wildcat Stadium, so the wind will not affect this kick any. They are going to try the field goal. It will be a 56-yard attempt as the Cove field goal team lines up. And it's blocked. It's blocked by the Wildcats at the line of scrimmage. So once again, a great job by the Wildcat defense.
It may have been Joel Amos. I'm not sure. There was excellent penetration up the middle by the Temple Wildcats. And, of course, when you kick a ball that far, you're trying to kick a ball that far, you have to get it on a low trajectory to carry the distance. And I think he had to hit it that low, but the Wildcats were definitely pushing the front wall back into the backfield.
Okay, and after the blocked field goal, the Wildcat offense is back on the field, 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line, 9 minutes and 43 seconds left before halftime. Woodson back to pass, a quick drop, complete. That's Damian Johnson out the right side who breaks the tackle inside Copperas Cove territory for a first down at the 45-yard line.
Well, that was a fine run after the catch by Damian. That's Damian's 17th catch, but one thing I'd like to point out on that play is Jimmy Popelka coming downfield from the center position throwing a block. Great job. Excuse me, Jimmy is in there at quick tackle, and Lawrence is in there at center. So just an excellent play by Jimmy Popelka.
And again, Woodson back to pass and has a man wide open. That's Dale Williams, who sprints after catching the out route down the sideline inside the Copperas Cove 20-yard line. Quarterback Adrian Woodson had that one on a rope, Mark. That was a great pass to a wide open Dale Williams. Offensive passing game for the Wildcats looking sharp so far in tonight's contest.
Excellent throw by Adrian, and then a great effort on the Cove Bulldogs' part. Vernon Goodson making the play, or Dale Williams would have been in the end zone.
1st and 10. Here's a bootleg by quarterback Woodson. He sprints right, incomplete, intended for tight end Scott Marvick. That's Adrian's first incompletion of the night.
Well, the bootleg play, which Temple runs so well, and John Meldy out there throwing a great block for Adrian to get around the corner.
That stops the clock. 8 minutes and 51 seconds left before halftime. The Wildcats inside the Copperas Cove 20-yard line, facing a 2nd down and 10.
Wildcats' offensive line that's in the ball game right now is Jimmy Popelka, John Meldy, Mike Lawrence, Mark Beards, and Russell Dolgener, and of course tight end Scott Marvick.
Here's the bootleg once again. Quarterback Adrian Woodson is going to keep it this time. He's down close to the first down. He's going to be just a little bit short. Looks like a gain of about 9. Down inside the 10-yard line, however. Looks to be just about a half a yard short of that first down, maybe a yard short of that first down marker.
Well, excellent decision by Adrian. When you get down here, you want to make positive yardage every chance you can get.
It was a good decision. He bootlegged right again, this time electing to keep the ball. Good game. It is a 3rd down and about 1 needed for the Wildcats. Here's the give to Delarius Wilson inside. He's going to be close to the goal line, stopped just short. He's inside the 2-yard line. That'll be a 1st down. 1st and goal from that point.
Well, that's an excellent run by Delarius Wilson on the play. Hopefully Delarius is healthy. He's had a little bit of a shoulder problem. He looked very good on that run. Delarius has got 612 yards and is the leading rusher for the Wildcats this season. So
Wildcats come in now with a 2 tight end look and 2 wide outs. 1 back set inside the 2-yard line. Quarterback Adrian Woodson looking to call the play at the line of scrimmage to give to Delarius Wilson over from 2 yards out. The Wildcats put point number 20 on the board with that 2-yard touchdown run by number 22, Delarius Wilson.
Great offensive line play on that series.
Danny Magana in to try his third extra point attempt of the first half. 7 minutes and 33 seconds left in the first half as he will attempt to put point number 21 on the board for the Wildcats. And with Adrian Woodson's hold and Danny Magana's kick, it is true, and the Wildcats lead 21-0 with 7 minutes and 33 seconds left in the second quarter. We'll be back after this break.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called one pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
Welcome back once again to Wildcat Stadium. The number 4 ranked Temple Wildcats have jumped out to a 21-0 lead over the Copperas Cove Bulldogs in this key District 13-5A matchup. Danny Magana is on the field for his 4th kickoff of the first half. And he'll be kicking once again to Copperas Cove's number 20 Frank Crothers and number 22 Maurice White, this time all the way back. And that's a safety. That's a safety. That is a safety by the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. You can't come on the field of play and go back. He wanted to, but you just can't do it. And the official right there to give the call, and the Wildcats pick up 2 more points.
Well, I don't believe he knew exactly where he was on the field, Gordon, and he looked down and he saw the line, but I believe he had one foot on the other side of the line as he broke the plane of the goal line coming out on the kickoff. Great break for the Wildcats, and of course the Wildcats will again get the football back on that play and get excellent field position in all probability.
Well, that pushes the score to 23-0, 7 minutes and 29 seconds left in the second quarter. The Wildcats on top of Copperas Cove. And we'll see whether the Bulldogs elect to punt it or to kick it. It is a free kick. Number 31 is on the field. Corky Rodriguez, he will do the place-kicking chores from the 20-yard line. Following the safety, which is kind of unfortunate. The young man just not really sure where he was, tried to make a good decision. It turned out to be an unfortunate decision and cost him 2 points. The Wildcat offense racking up over 110 yards total offense in the first quarter. A good pace, a good clip. That hits the Temple man. That's a free ball, and that is going to be recovered at the 32-yard line. That's going to be Copperas Cove's ball. So what an unusual-looking kickoff attempt. I don't believe it was intended to be, but it was definitely an unusual-looking kickoff attempt that careened off of a Wildcat defender.
Well, you know, the last 2 plays have been unusual, to say the least. I don't know when I've seen a sequence quite like that, but the Wildcats front line was going back to set up for the return, and I believe just got hit in the back, and the ball came right back to the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. Big break for the Cove Bulldogs.
Well, it was a big break because with the score 23-0 and the Wildcat offense threatening to come back on the field, it could have been trouble for this Copperas Cove Bulldog team. But now, maybe a breath of light here with 7 minutes and 24 seconds left in the first half. Quarterback Cole on a sprint right, throws incomplete, and that will make it 2nd down and 10 from their own 33-yard line.
Clarence Marion in there on defense this series, along with Noah Dunham in the middle, number 51. I believe we've also got Stephen Thompson in the ballgame, number 85.
Copperas Cove offense now up over the ball. Quarterback Whitney Cole looking at the Temple defense, calling the play. Here's the counter to give, over the left side this time. The workhorse for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs, number 23, Nikki Thompson, stripped of the ball right there at the last.
Well, Priest Thomas again in there on the play. Coming into the ball game, Priest had the lead with 47 tackle assists for the Temple Wildcats. He's always around the football, and Derek Bates in there as well.
Inside 7 minutes in the second quarter. Third down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Number 78, that's Don Shea Martin on a great defensive play for the Wildcats. In and collars quarterback Whitney Cole for a big loss of about 11 yards.
Well, Don Shea's leading the team with sacks. That's his 4th sack of the season.
Great effort, beating the offensive lineman, getting back in the backfield, getting back to the point where quarterback Whitney Cole was trying to set up and bringing him down for a big defensive play by Don Shea Martin. That'll bring up 4th down. Clock still rolling, 6 minutes and 10 seconds left in the second quarter. The Temple punt return team again pressures the Copperas Cove punter, but he gets it off anyway.
Got a real good roll on the play, and Temple will take possession on their own 48-yard line. Real good penetration that time by the Wildcat defensive front wall. Noah Dunham in there very quickly, along with a host of other Wildcats.
Well, the Cove defense got his hands full here in the first half against the Temple Wildcat offense. They take over. Good field position once again at their own 48.5 yard line. 1st and 10. Quarterback Adrian Woodson drops, steps, throws. It's going to be incomplete, just out of the reach of Dale Williams downfield.
Well, the Wildcats trying to stretch Cove with their vertical game. They had 2 guys going up the sideline, up the seam cut. Damien on the outside, Dale Williams on the inside. Just barely missed a big play.
Thomas Johnson and Maurice White there for the Bulldogs. That'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Wildcats. 3 wide receivers to the right side for Temple. That's Gerald Watson in the backfield, and we've got whistles and flags before the snap.
I believe Temple went with a no-huddle on that as well, Gordon.
Well, they sure did. I didn't even notice it. They sure did. That's a new look for the Wildcats. They're going to be flagged for a 5-yard procedure penalty before the snap. That will make it 2nd down and 15 from their own 44-yard line. Make it. And again, the same formation. 3 wide receivers to the right side. The give is to Watson. He breaks the tackle. He's up close to the 50-yard line on a 5-yard run that will bring it. And the Wildcats in a no-huddle look.
They're in a no-huddle. That time, Nikki Thompson for Cove got great penetration on a blitz from the cornerback position. Cove will take some chances on defense and send some people.
Now quarterback Adrian Woodson calls his troops together in the huddle, and they call the play. And they'll have to hurry to the line of scrimmage to beat the play clock. It's 3rd down and 10 for the Wildcats from their own 49-yard line. He fakes the give to Watson. He's going to throw a screen to the tight end, Scott Marvick, who is going to be brought down. That's the right cornerback, number 23, Nikki Thompson, in a great defensive play on the right side. Defeats the Wildcat blockers and trips up tight end Scott Marvick for a short gain.
Well, he read it all the way, Gordon. Just an outstanding play that time by Nikki Thompson. And he'll also go back deep to receive the punt, along with number 22, Maurice White. Well, that's got to be encouraging for the Cove defense.
Well, that was
stop the Wildcats.
A good series for the Bulldogs. That will force Temple into a punting situation. It's 4th down, 9 still needed. Richard Mata back to punt. He kicks away from the returners. It's going to be picked up, though. A great move by that's 23. That's Nikki Thompson.
Mark Churchwell and Dolgener, number 70, in there on the tackle. Russell Dolgener.
Well, a great return by the Cove punt return team, in particular number 23, Nikki Thompson. They picked up the bouncing ball, shook a defender, and raced for about a 20-yard return that gets Copperas Cove out of the hole, 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line.
Of course, Russell Josiner in there on the tackle is the 6'6", 298-pound tackle for the offense. He also is the deep snapper and the extra point snapper for the Temple Wildcats.
4 minutes and 2 seconds left before halftime. Copperas Cove has the ball, 1st and 10. The give this time to Justin Brown, brought down for little or no gain.
Mark Churchwell in there on the tackle for the Temple Wildcats. 3:50 left. I'm sure Cove would like to at least maintain possession of this football and go in at halftime only down 23-0 and keep the Wildcat offense off the field.
Well, that's for sure. And their quarterback, Whitney Cole, looks to the sideline as the play is signaled in. He brings them up to the line of scrimmage, and they face a 2nd and 9. He sprints right, sets, and throws complete.
Real fine catch. Real fine catch. One-handed catch. Very nice touch.
And number 22, Frank Crothers, demonstrating good speed after he brought down the ball with one hand, turned upfield, and sprinted for another 5 or 10 yards. Knocked out of bounds to stop the clock with 3 minutes and 19 seconds left before halftime. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from their own 44-yard line.
Whitney Cole is looking very good here in this half. The more he plays, the more comfortable he seems to get.
And he calls the play once again at the line of scrimmage. The Bulldogs have it 1st and 10. Whitney Cole sprints left and is going to overthrow his intended receiver. A little bit too tall on that one. Sprinting to the left side this time. Looked to be the same play that they completed for the good gainer just last play. This time it sails on him a little bit, and that'll bring up a 2nd down.
Just slightly overthrown. Josh Morrell, number 17, was going on a deep post route on that same play, and you may look for Cove to come back to that and try to hit that deep post here late in the half.
2nd down and 10. The Bulldogs have it at their own 44-yard line with 3 minutes and 14 seconds left before halftime. And here comes the Temple defense, and they've got quarterback Whitney Cole wrapped up, a sack, and a loss of 7 yards on the play. The clock's still running. That'll bring up a big 3rd down play for the Cove offense.
Richard Mata and Noah Dunham in there very early on the play. I don't know that they made the tackle, but they got great penetration.
Well, the clock runs. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left before halftime. 3rd down, 16 yards needed for the Bulldogs. They have it at their own 38-yard line. They need to reach the Temple 46-yard line. Quarterback Cole back to pass, looking deep over the middle. Incomplete. Incomplete intended that time for Ricky Flake. That will bring up a 4th down. That will stop the clock and force another punting situation for the Bulldogs.
Well, that was the play they hit Ricky Flakes on earlier for the big 1st down, and again, Derek Bates doing a great job on defense that time. Derek and Damian Johnson will go back deep for the Wildcats.
This homecoming crowd gives the Wildcat defense a round of ovation as they come off the field. They're having an excellent night, and they've got pressure once again on the punter, but this time he gets it off. It's going to be fielded by number 18, Derek Bates, and he's going to be brought down at the 28. Here we've got flags with a late hit, looks to be, and that'll be tacked on.
Well, that'll certainly help the Wildcats out here as they've got 2:12 left on the clock. That'll put them up on about the 43-yard line, give them excellent field position to take a shot at trying to score here right before the half.
We'll get to see a little bit of the Temple Wildcat 2-minute offense, perhaps, with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left before halftime.
Well, we may see that no-huddle again here, Gordon, that they tried on the previous series.
The Wildcat offense moving the ball well tonight, taking advantage of maybe a little bit of size, a little bit of speed, a little bit of quickness. taking advantage of this Copperas Cove defense. They've been on the field a long time this first half. Here's the give. Delarius Wilson up the middle. He squirts and he squirms. He's over the 45 to the 47. Second down and 5.
Well, that's just a fine play, fine hole in there. I was watching Russell Dolgener that time, and he did a great job of sealing off the inside to creating that hole for Delarius.
Woodson calls the play at the line of scrimmage. Second down and 5. It's a give once again to Delarius Wilson. He's going to be stopped short of the first down right at midfield. 1 minute and 40 seconds with the clock running. Third down and 2 needed by the Wildcats.
Number 56, Jeff Thompson's coming in at left guard for the Temple Wildcats.
Complete. That's Greg Watson.
Fine throw by Adrian.
And he's going to be down to the Copperas Cove 40-yard line. That's the first down with 1 minute and 17 left before halftime. The Wildcats back on the football, ready to call the play.
Good timing on that pass play between Greg Watson and Adrian.
Now referee starts the clock. Woodson drops back. It's going to be intercepted. That's number 20, Frank Crothers. He's got great speed, and Delarius Wilson can't bring him down. But Adrian Woodson catches him inside the 15, inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. A big turnover, Temple's second turnover of the night. We do have a flag down on the return back at the Copperas Cove 48-yard line.
Well, that's a great example, Gordon, of Adrian probably wish he'd have had that throw back, but he got down there and saved a touchdown with an outstanding play from the quarterback position, making the tackle. But I believe there's a penalty on the play, and I believe the interception will still stand, but Cove will be penalized for a clipping penalty, I believe.
He looked like he signaled dead ball, but that. If that's a dead ball, if that's a dead ball call from back here.
Well, let's see if we can pick up what the call is going to be.
We'll be back right after this.
At King's Daughters Hospital, we deliver bouncing baby boys, bouncing baby girls, and all the joy that bouncing babies bring. King's Daughters Hospital, delivering happy babies to you.
Well, Mark, you're exactly right. The Copperas Cove Bulldogs are going to be penalized 15 yards on the interception return. It's going to, instead of being a 15-yard, it's only a 15-yard penalty in the record book, but it's in actuality about a 50-yard penalty for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs with only 58 seconds left before halftime. Instead of having it first and goal inside the 10, they have it first and 10 at their own 32-yard line. And we've got a delay of game penalty against the Bulldogs. That'll push them back 5 more yards. First and 15 now from their own 28-yard line.
Well, I'm sure the Temple Wildcats on defense will be playing extremely loose in the secondary, not trying to give up the big play right before half.
Quarterback Coles back to pass. Looks, fires, incomplete. Intended that time for number 34, Justin Brown, out of the backfield. That'll bring up a second down and 10 with 51 seconds left now before halftime. Temple Wildcats on top 23-0.
Set the defensive line that will be putting pressure this time. Dana President, Don Shea Martin, Clarence Marion, and Mark Churchwell in the game for the Wildcats.
Second down and 15 for Cove. It's a quick pass, and this one's going to be intercepted by Temple's Richard Mata, and he's going to outrun everybody into the corner of the end zone. Touchdown! Temple's number 29, Richard Mata. About a 30-yard interception return for the Temple Wildcats for a touchdown.
Just a beautiful play by Richard Mata. He read it all the way. He got in the passing lane, and the minute he caught the football, it was a foot race to the end zone. Just a great play.
Well, it was a great play by Temple's weak side linebacker, reading the quick pass and being right where he needed to be, steps in front, makes a great catch, and goes untouched into the end zone for a touchdown. And I'll tell you, Mark, that's quite a turnaround. You know, penalties have been hard on the Cove Bulldogs the first half. That penalty on the return really hurt them as Temple's Danny Magana tacks on point number 30. Temple leads 30-0 with 43 seconds left before halftime.
Well, obviously this is the kind of half Coach McQueen wanted to have. The Wildcats looking very sharp throwing the football. Defense looking very good. The Wildcats need a strong game this evening.
Well, with 43 seconds left before intermission, the Temple Wildcats have jumped out. They lead the Copperas Cove Bulldogs 30-0. Danny Magana will tee it up once more and get set to kick off for the Temple Wildcats.
Danny was one of the captains this evening, along with Tony Bain and Brandon Osborne, number 84, for the Temple Wildcats.
Well, the Wildcats doing a good job both offensively and defensively in tonight's game, doing exactly what they needed to do to get back that intensity, get back into that form that had them ranked number 1 in the state for 6 weeks before last week's disappointing loss to the Kangaroos. But they're back in form tonight as Magana kicks deep to Maurice White, and he's going to be hit, and he shakes loose and is going to be wrestled out of bounds. Once again, the Temple Wildcat kickoff team doing a great job stopping the Copperas Cove Bulldogs before they reach the 20-yard line. Once again, in fact, it's going to be put into play on about the 16-yard line.
34 seconds left to go in the ball game. I don't know if Cove will try to get something going or just try to run out the half here and regroup.
It's got to be a big blow to the Cove Bulldogs. They had the interception. Adrian Woodson threw the pass, and Copperas Cove's Frank Crothers stepped in front of the receiver and sprinted all the way down inside the 10, but the Cove Bulldogs called on a clipping play, or a personal foul play on the return, pushed him back, and then, of course, Temple's Richard Mata grabs the interception and goes in for the touchdown.
Mark Churchwell, and I believe that's Greg Steele in there on the tackle from the cornerback position.
And the clock continues to run. 18 seconds left before halftime. They may not elect to get another play off. Well, they do call the play, but they're going to have to hurry to get it off before the halftime ends. 5, 4, and we've got motion with 1 second left before halftime. The right side of the Copperas Cove offensive line moving too soon.
Well, I'm sure that they may have thrown a pass on that play, but on this play right here, with everybody set on the defense, I would be surprised if they threw the football.
Second down and 15 now, and that is it. That is going to be the end of the first half. The Temple Wildcats lead this 13-5A matchup 30-0 over the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. We'll be back for halftime right after this.
What's different about King Saver?
We're your hometown grocer.
And you can depend on us for the freshest meats and produce in town at famous King Saver prices.
Special cut of meat, no problem.
You're the king at King Saver, so we offer check cashing, money orders, and next-day film developing.
And custom party trays.
And at King Saver, you can rent the latest first-run movies at the best price in town. Remember, when you want fresh for less, stay with your hometown grocer, King Saver, in Temple and Killeen.
Cafe on the Square in Georgetown is a very special place. People from all over Central Texas enjoy the unique atmosphere and delicious food.
After a hard day, Cafe on the Square is a great place to relax for dinner. Choose from a variety of beautifully prepared entrees, including steak, seafood, and pasta. The Sunday buffet is special at Cafe on the Square. For brunch or Sunday dinner, all your favorite dishes are prepared and served with Cafe's own original charm. Cafe on the Square in Georgetown. There's just no place like it.
I live alone, and I've come to appreciate having things my own way. One thing I've recently done is complete a prearranged funeral plan. Sure, I've got life insurance and a will, but prearrangement assures me the protection of my personal beliefs. It's not fair to leave difficult decisions to the family. And besides, it's my right to choose exactly what I want. It's your right, too.
For more information or our free prearrangement guide, call Harper Tolasic Funeral Home, the wiser choice.
It's halftime. This 1992 homecoming game. The Temple Wildcats over the Copperas Cove Bulldogs 30-0. The Temple High School Band, under the direction of Leland Schrock, about to entertain this crowd. Head drum major Joel Bolton, assistant drum major David Knight. Let's go down the field and enjoy the sights and sounds of the Temple High School marching band.
King's Daughters Hospital announces something really worth celebrating. It's the Women's Connection, a special program at King's Daughters especially for women, with healthcare services, seminars, classes, support groups, and much more. Even a special information line just for women, the Women's Connection. All kinds of services for all kinds of women. To find out more, call the Women's Connection today.
The GMC Safari is already loaded with the largest standard V6 in its class and four-wheel anti-lock brakes. And now, we've dropped in a few extras, like reclining seats, air conditioning, available front and rear, a killer stereo, Scotch guard, tinted glass, and lots more. Now, how do we load you into a Safari? With this limited-time cashback offer.
See Jim Tranum, Cleo Bay, or Bolton McLaren today.
G. Willie's now has the most exciting game in Central Texas, QB1, the interactive TV game where you play along during live professional and college football games and can compete for valuable prizes nationally. Large portions of great food and a lively and entertaining atmosphere sure to please the entire family. G. Willie's, with the largest big-screen TV in Central Texas and the only place you can play along with QB1, the interactive TV game. G. Willie's, just east of the mall on the Loop, Temple.
Hello, everybody. It's halftime here at Wildcat Stadium. The Wildcats enjoying a 30-0 lead over the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. A great effort both offensively and defensively for the Wildcats up to this point in what has got to be pleasing to Coach McQueen. The script has got to be pleasing, especially after last week's loss, to get things back, both intensity-wise, production-wise. What you see here is the Wildcat team we remember back 3 or 4 weeks ago in a great contest.
Well, they're doing a lot of things well. They've only given up 3 first downs. They've scored from the defense. The offense is doing very well. Adrian's throwing the football very well. They got about 185 yards, and they're making some big plays running and throwing.
And, of course, the Wildcat defense doing an outstanding job up to this point on a scrappy Copperas Cove football team.
Well, the Cove Bulldogs have got a few bad breaks tonight. They stepped in the end zone on a safety, and then they had the ball pretty much the whole first half pinned deep in their own territory and really not able to do a whole lot of things.
Field position real key, and then they got the critical penalty on the interception return that kind of snuffed out any life they might have in the first half. So I know at halftime the Temple Wildcats are happy. They're making this 1992 homecoming game a special celebration. We'll be back for the second half kickoff right after this.
What's different about King Saber?
We're your hometown grocer.
And you can depend on us for the freshest meats and produce in town at famous King Saber prices.
Special cut of meat, no problem.
You're the king at King Saber, so we offer check cashing, money orders, and next-day film developing.
And custom party trays.
And at King Saber, you can rent the latest first-run movies at the best price in town. Remember, when you want fresh for less, stay with your hometown grocer, King Saber, in Temple and Killeen.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called one pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
Welcome back, everybody. We're just about to start the second half. Temple on top 30-0. We have lined up for the Wildcats to run through. Their run-through sign includes not only the band now, but a group of ex-Wildcat players who've lined up to usher the Wildcats back on the field. It's a homecoming crowd here at the Wildcat Stadium. And got 2 long rows of ex-Wildcat players giving their support of this year's crop of Temple Wildcats. And the Wildcats come back on the field leading 30-0. Great intensity the first half. What's it going to take to keep the intensity up? It will be a job to maintain the intensity over the first half.
Well, it's homecoming. The fight song is playing. They came out and they look real good as far as the enthusiasm on the sideline, and I believe they're ready to play a great second half. Of course, it always helps when you have those great former players out there to run through. There's a lot of great guys down there, and I know playing for the Wildcats meant an awful lot to each and every one of those guys.
Really did. Quite an honor, quite a tradition, and quite a privilege to wear the blue front and the white back. It's indeed a long tradition maintained over the years by many, many, many years of good football and good football players.
Well, there's Brandon Osborne, the captain for the second half, number 84. Looks like the Wildcats will receive to open the second half.
The Wildcats, for the past, what is it, Mark, 16 years now, ever since your senior year, they started electing captains at the end of the year. They'll have designated captains through the season, numerically designated, 3 or 4 at a time, all the seniors designated numerically. Then at the end of the year, they, as a team, elect the captains. Quite a honor to be chosen as a captain in that fashion. Rather than doing like they did for my senior year and electing before the season, they do it after the season now.
Well, you were a pretty good captain, though, Gordon, but it is nice. The team in 1975 decided to do that as kind of a show of unity, of teamwork, and Coach McQueen has kept that in the program ever since. So it is a great honor to be elected captain after the season.
It's a great honor and another great tradition here at Temple. Well, we're just about set for the second half kickoff. Copperas Cove will kick off from the west end of the stadium. Temple won the opening coin toss and elected to defer to the second half, and they have chosen to take the ball to start the third quarter. And we've got some type of delay.
I'm not exactly
sure what's going on right now.
Resetting the clock or what the problem is, but there has been a slight delay here for the opening kickoff. Back deep for the Wildcats will be number 32, Gerald Watson. We've got Derek Bates in the middle and Dale Williams.
Copperas Cove will tee it up from their own 40-yard line. Number 31, Corky Rodriguez, will do the chores once whatever the question is answered. And it looks like we're just about ready to go. There's the whistle. And number 31, Corky Rodriguez for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs, just about set to start the second half. He kicks a squib kick that's going to be handled short. That's number 86, Scott Marvick, who's going to have the ball out over the 35-yard line. A good return, good hands, picked the ball up, protected the ball, and brought it out over the 35, where the Wildcats will set up 1st and 10 from their 37-yard line.
Well, the Wildcats would like to get off to a great start here in the second half with a fine ball control drive.
I know that's what they'll be looking to do. Up 30-0. The Wildcats send Horace Tisdale, Greg Watson to the right side, Damian Johnson left, give over the right side. That's Gerald Watson up over the 40. Brought down by Don Wexner.
Well, Gerald's got extremely strong legs, and it seems like he always gets a yard or two after he's hit, which is a sign of a fine running back.
That'll bring up 2nd down and 6. Wildcat offense up to the line of scrimmage. This time Damian Johnson to the wide to the left side. Here's a trap up the middle. That's Gerald Watson. He breaks another tackle. He's going to be brought down. It's going to be real close to the 1st down marker. And it's going to require a measurement. So the referee signals timeout, and they'll bring the chains across the field to see if Gerald Watson picked up the 1st down.
Well, that was a fine play. It opened up very quickly. Cove reacted very well to close. It was a real good-looking running play. Gerald popped right up through there, and if it wasn't for a game-saving or touchdown-saving tackle, Gerald would have had a heck of a lot more yardage.
And that is a 1st down. Gerald Watson picks up the initial 1st down of the 2nd half. The Wildcats have it 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line. 11 minutes exactly left in the 3rd quarter. Temple on top 30-0. 3 wide receivers left side now for the Temple offense. They have it 1st and 10 at their own 47. And here's the fake. And Woodson back to pass is going to throw deep. He's going to throw just out of the fingertip reach of number 48, Damian Johnson, at the Cove 20-yard line. Incomplete.
Well, Cove has really walked up on the Wildcat receivers on the outside, playing man-to-man, just right up on them. And that play is definitely there. Damian got his hands up on the football, couldn't quite pull it down, but I'm sure the Wildcats will look to come back to something very similar to that if Cove continues to play him in that style of defense.
2nd down, 10 yards needed for the 1st down. Greg Watson in motion to the left side. Here's the sprint draw. That's to Gerald Watson. He's got the 1st down close to the Cove 40-yard line. That's another new look for the Wildcats. That was actually a sprint draw, Mark.
Kind of a sprint draw look, kind of delay play. The hole was just beautifully opened up. Gerald shot right through there. That was an excellent football play.
1st and 10, 12-yard gain by Gerald Watson. 1st and 10 from just outside the Cove 40-yard line. Greg Watson in motion across the right side. Here's another draw. This is Gerald Watson up inside the 35, gain of close to 7. They'll mark it at the 32-yard line. That'll make it 2nd down and 3 from that point. 10 minutes exactly left in the 3rd quarter.
Well, the Wildcats offensive line taking control. Cove Bulldogs are not small in the interior. They've got 210, 230, 220, and 230 on the front wall. So fine job by the Wildcat offensive line.
2nd down and a short 3 for the Cats. Woodson back to pass. 3-step drop, and it sails on him over the head of number 48, Damian Johnson. That'll be 3rd down now, 3. Well, an impressive opening drive by the Wildcats to start the 3rd quarter. They faced their first 3rd down test of this drive. It's 3rd down and 3 from the Cove 33. And here's the give again to Watson. He's going to be very, very close. Looks to be just maybe a little short of the 1st down. That'll bring up 4th down in less than a yard, looks like.
Well, I think he is just a little bit short. The pile moved forward, but I believe he's a little short. But look for the Wildcats, if Cove comes up in that split defense again without a man over the center, to maybe take advantage of that again with the quarterback sneak.
That's a good point, Mark. Quarterback Adrian Woodson did just that in the 1st quarter. He sprinted 55 yards right up the middle for the game opening touchdown. 4th down and 1. Quarterback Adrian Woodson over center, and there it is. Once again, Mark, you called it, and he's going. He's going to be inside the 10-yard line. A great automatic once again by quarterback Adrian Woodson. This time good for 25 yards and a 1st down inside the Copperas Cove 10-yard line. 8 minutes and 48 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Well, it was definitely there, and Adrian coming off the block of Michael Rance doing a great job. The whole offensive line doing a fine job this drive. And Temple is eating up a lot of the clock. Clock's down to 8:44.
First and goal inside the 10-yard line for the Wildcats. To give to Watson, he stumbles as he makes his cut. He falls forward for maybe a gain of perhaps a yard.
Well, that was Vernon Goodson, number 2 for the Cove Bulldogs on the stop. He's a linebacker. I believe he was crashing inside trying to make a play.
Second down and 9, or second down and goal from the 9 for the Wildcats.
Now, this is the time that the Wildcats like to use the play-action passing, bootleg type action.
Wildcats again in a 2 tight end set with a 1 back look, 2 wide receivers. This is going to be the give. Gerald Watson inside the 5. Brought down by Austin Ledger.
I believe
Number
that's
62
correct.
for the Cove Bulldogs.
Fine running. Gerald just slid along the line and made a great play. The Wildcats again in a 2 tight end look that time. Gerald Watson coming back in the game. Greg Watson coming back in the game at receiver. Number 21.
Third down, goal, quarterback option. Adrian Woodson is going to be stopped short, wrapped up at about the 2-yard line. As number 76, Don Westner, in on the stop. 220-pound senior defensive lineman for the Bulldogs. That'll bring up 4th down, and we may, no, I don't guess we are, but we could have seen maybe the first field goal of the Temple of the year, but no, we're going to go for it.
Well, even if the Wildcats don't make it here, they've got them pinned deep in their own territory.
4th down and goal to go for the Wildcats. Big play for the Wildcat offense and the Copperas Cove defense, and they come up with it. They force the errant pitch, mishandled by the fullback, and the Copperas Cove Bulldogs fall on the ball at the 3-yard line. So the Wildcats are turned away with a great defensive stand by the Copperas Cove Bulldogs.
Well, that shows an awful lot of character by the Cove Bulldogs. Down 30-0, making a goal line stand. That's a fine job by Copperas Cove, coming up with a big play on 4th down.
6 minutes and 48 seconds left in the third quarter. Temple on top 30-0. Halftime stats. Temple, 185 total yards in the first half. Copperas Cove limited to 80 total yards. Here's quarterback Whitney Cole with a quarterback sneak of his own. Up over the 5. Good for a gain of maybe 3 yards on the play.
Well, Cove is just trying to get themselves some breathing room.
Second down and 7 needed for the Bulldogs. 6 minutes and 18 seconds. Copperas Cove, 3 first downs, first half. The dive play stacked up after a gain of 4 yards. Number 78, Don Shea Martin, hit him first, helped out later by a host of Wildcats. He's up just outside the 10-yard line. That's going to be 2 yards, 3 yards short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 3 from there.
Well, that's Justin Brown running very hard for the Cove Bulldogs. I believe Cove got 2 first downs in the first half via that pass and 1 via the run.
Looking for first down number 4. Quarterback Whitney Cole looks over the defensive alignment and calls the signal. Here's the give. Stop. There's a fumble. There's a fumble on the play. The ball comes out, but the Cove ball carrier is going to be ruled down after a gain of about a yard. That's going to be short, and the Temple Wildcat defense has held once again.
Well, let's see if Temple comes with a rush this time. They've had a few very near misses on a punt block attempt.
They've been very successful putting big pressure on the Cove punter. This time it's number 5, Whitney Cole, back to punt. The snap's back, and this time they do. Temple's Michael Moffitt all by himself blocked the punt. It wasn't necessarily a rush on. He just kind of leaned over, and the punter Whitney Cole could not get it off.
Great job by Michael Moffitt, and a great job by Richard Mata recovering the fumble. He almost had a chance to pick that up and run it in. He just couldn't quite scoop it up, but a great night by Richard Mata as well.
Big play once again by the Wildcat defense, and the Wildcats will take over at the 5-yard line. First and goal on the Copperas Cove 5-yard line with 4 minutes and 38 seconds left to play in the third quarter. There's a trap, give to Delarius Wilson. He's over the goal line. Touchdown, Temple Wildcats. Wilson scores from 5 yards out.
Well, just outstanding quickness. Delarius has such great quickness in his feet. Just stepped right up through the hole.
The extra point try to be attempted by Danny Magana.
I believe
the hold is by Adrian Woodson. The kick is up, and it's good. And that's point number 37 tonight for the Wildcats with 4 minutes and 33 seconds left in the third quarter. The Wildcats on top, 37-0. We'll take a break and be back right after this.
Cafe on the Square in Georgetown is a very special place. People from all over Central Texas enjoy the unique atmosphere and delicious food. After a hard day, Cafe on the Square is a great place to relax for dinner. Choose from a variety of beautifully prepared entrees, including steak, seafood, and pasta. The Sunday buffet is special at Cafe on the Square. For brunch or Sunday dinner, all your favorite dishes are prepared and served with Cafe's own original charm. Cafe on the Square in Georgetown. There's just no place like it.
Welcome back, everybody. 4 minutes and 33 seconds left in this, the third quarter, and Temple on top, 37-0. Quarterback Adrian Woodson having a great night on the ground, Mark. Close to 100 yards. Of course, two of them coming in big chunks on the quarterback sneaks. And Danny Magana kicks deep to number 22, Maurice White. He's hit at the 23-yard line. Warwick Vaughn's down there. Richard Mata, no.
Mark Churchwell.
Down there. Good stop by the Wildcat kickoff return team, doing an outstanding job tonight in coverage.
Well, I was going to say right before the break, Gordon, that I believe that's Delarius Wilson's 11th touchdown of the season, so he's having an outstanding year thus far. Temple's very fortunate to have Delarius and Gerald Watson. They're the number, coming into tonight's ball game, they were the number 4 and 5 rushers in the district.
Quite a tandem of Temple's Delarius Wilson and Gerald Watson. Copperas Cove has it first and 10. Little mix-up in the backfield, and Frank Crothers is going to be smothered as he's forced out of bounds by
Jared
a host
Mackey.
of Wildcats.
Yeah, Jared Mackey was in there, and Dana President, and I believe with Greg Steele. Wildcats are really swarming to the football on defense.
A little bit of hesitation, a little bit of a mix-up in the backfield on that last play, allowing the Temple defense quickly to react, smother Crothers as he's forced out of bounds after a loss of 1 yard. That'll bring up a second down and 11 for the Bulldogs. Cole sprints left, throws, fires incomplete, intended for Crothers. Number 44, Michael Moffitt there for the Wildcats in defensive coverage.
Well, number 35, Jason Reese, is also in the ball game out there on the coverage in the flat area as well.
Third down and 11 yards needed. 4 minutes and 6 seconds left in the third quarter. Well, you're behind 37-0, Mark. What are you going to call? 3rd and 11 from your own 23-yard line.
Well, they've got to put the football up here, I'm sure.
He's going to roll left. He's going to look deep. He's going to fire, and it's intercepted. That's Michael Moffitt down the sideline on the deflection. A great job of concentrating on the ball. Pulls it in and scampers down to the 25-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats on another big play by the defense.
Well, we have called Michael Moffitt's name an awful lot tonight, Gordon.
He's having a great night, and he turns the ball over to the Wildcats. after about a 13-yard interception return down to the Cove 25-yard line. 3 minutes and 56 seconds left to go. Number 11, Justin Lee, in the game at quarterback now. We've got a change in the quarterback position. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Lee hands off. Neville Malone, tripped up as he crosses the 20-yard line. Still a good gain on the play of about 7. It'll be a 2nd down and 3 for the Wildcats.
Kenneth McGee, number 71, is in there at tackle, as Michael Pignon, number 62, is also in there in the offensive line. Jeff Thompson, number 56.
And Justin Lee brings the Wildcats up to the line of scrimmage. The 170-pound junior quarterback under the center for the snap. Here's the give again to Malone, and he's going to be inside the 15. A good, strong run. Picks up the 1st down. And the Wildcats will have it 1st and 10 at the Cove 12-yard line.
Jimmy Popelka and Mike Lawrence to set the rest of the offensive line for the Wildcats. I believe Warwick Vaughns is in there at receiver, as well as Tracy Ball. And number 26, Horace Tisdale. Scott Marvick still in at tight end.
1st and 10. Trap up the middle inside the 10 for Neville Malone. Brought down again, number 62, Austin Ledger there for the stop from his middle linebacker position for the Bulldogs. That's a gain of, call it, a little over 2 for Neville Malone. 2 minutes and 32 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Danny Magana is also in at receiver now, as well as Darrell Smith for the Wildcats.
Justin Lee hands off again to Neville Malone. They have him stacked up. The Cove defense has him wrapped up after a short gain. A host of Bulldogs stopping Neville Malone after a gain of about 1. That'll be a 3rd down now. Still 6 needed for the 1st down.
Well, that's a hard run by Neville Malone for a very short yardage, but he exhibited tremendous effort. Neville has a 6.5-yard average coming into the football game, so he's run extremely hard this year.
3rd down and about 6, maybe 7 needed for the Wildcats from the Copperas Cove 13-yard line. 1 minute and 40 seconds left in the 3rd quarter as Justin Lee is back. He's going to sprint right on the bootleg. He's going to look, and he's going to throw, and it's going to be incomplete. Number 22, Maurice White, might have been there just a second or two early, but there's no flag thrown. The ball's incomplete with 1 minute and 32 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. That'll be 4th down now for the Wildcats. And we'll see what Coach Bob McQueen and Coach David Beal dial in on 4th down and 7 from the Cove 13-yard line. And they line up with 3 wide receivers split right. And Justin Lee says timeout as the 25-second clock approaches 2 seconds. Unable to get the play off before time would have run out. Quarterback Justin Lee calls a timeout to prevent that penalty. Well, Mark, 4th down and about 7.
Yeah, we might look again for that very similar play-action play, the bootleg play. It certainly appeared that it was there. Just a well-timed hit by the Cove defensive back prevented the play. But you may see some type of rollout action with Justin Lee.
For the Temple Wildcats this year, with Delarius Wilson, Gerald Watson, Neville Malone at the fullback position, have been very productive. They're averaging over 190 yards per game from the fullback position. And of course, in the one-back offense, you better get a good performance from that one-back, but they are indeed doing a good job through week 7 and even week 8 as Justin Lee brings them up on a 4th and 7. He is going to bootleg right. He's going to throw, and it's going to be incomplete. Just in and out of number 45, Tracy Ball's hand. unable to make the outstanding catch in the end zone. Good effort by the Wildcat offense. So the ball will go over to the Cove Bulldogs with 1 minute and 26 seconds left in the third quarter.
Well, that was a fine effort by the Cove Bulldogs, hanging in there and stopping them again on the goal line. So Cove will be looking to turn it around and keep possession of this football for a little while this quarter. The Wildcats have a number of changes on defense, and we'll try to get those in for you right after this play.
1st and 10 from the 9-yard line. Quarterback Whitney Cole underneath center. Hands off. That's number 23. That's Nikki Thompson up and over the sack. Brought down after a 4-yard gain up to about the 13-yard line with 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the third quarter.
The Wildcats have Tim Alexander, number 49, in at one cornerback. Number 40, Eric Adams, in at safety. Number 12, Greg Norman in at the other safety. And number 23, James Wright, a sophomore, in at cornerback.
2nd down and 6. McGibb up the middle. That's number 20, Frank Crothers. A good run up, out, across the 20-yard line. That's going to be a first down for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs.
Nice hit by Greg Norman that time, coming across the field. Of course, James Wright was brought up to the varsity, Gordon, about what ball game this year?
He was, let's see, he was actually brought up before David Atkinson's injury. He'd been up for a couple of weeks, but he's just a sophomore, and they have him into left cornerback. This is Frank Crothers again up the middle. He's got great speed, and he's going to be brought down after a 56-yard scamper right up the middle of the Dimple Wildcat defense. That's a first down inside the Wildcat 35-yard line for Frank Crothers. Great speed by number 20 for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs, and a great run. Great blocking up front for the Bulldogs as they spurt for a 50-yard plus gain.
Tim Alexander and the man we were talking about earlier, James Wright, brought him down from behind to save a touchdown.
Well, inside 10 seconds left in the third quarter, and the give is right up the middle once again. That's number 34 for the Bulldogs. That's Justin Brown is his carry, his 4-yard gain in the third quarter. Temple on top, 37-0. We'll be back right after this.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called One Pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
We're set to start quarter number 4 here at Wildcat Stadium. 1992 homecoming game. The Temple Wildcats hosting the Copperas Cove Bulldogs and enjoying a 37-0 lead at this point. The Cove Bulldogs on a nice drive of their own, and this time Nikki Thompson's wrapped up in the backfield by Jared Mackey, Kenji Milliken. Great defensive play. Stops him for a loss on the play. That'll bring up a third down and 8 yards still needed for the Cove first down.
Well, the front line for the Wildcats is Brandon Osborne, Alton Berry, Gary Lyman, and Kenji Milligan. Alton got great penetration that time as well.
3rd down and 8 for the Bulldogs from the Temple 32. The pitch back to Crothers, and he slices through for a gain of about 4. That'll put him about 4 yards short of the first and bring up a 4th down for the Bulldogs.
That was a fine tackle by Mark Churchwell coming across the field that time.
4th down and 3 yards. 3.5 maybe, with 10 minutes and 52 seconds. The clock running. Temple on top, 37-0.
I believe that was Alton Berry coming across the field that time making a play. Great job, great hustle.
4th down and 3, call it for the Bulldogs from the Wildcat 32, and this is going to be a race, and it's going to be a good gain all the way down to about the 2-yard line. That's Nikki Thompson. Good run, a touchdown-saving tackle by the Wildcats inside the 5, preventing the touchdown, but at any rate, a 1st and goal at the 2-yard line for the Bulldogs now, with 10 minutes and 23 seconds left in the 4th quarter.
That was a fine run by Nikki Thompson.
And a great hit by the interior of the Temple defense as they unstack number 79. That's Alton Berry there, along with a host of Wildcats, to stop him short after a gain of maybe a half yard. It will make it 2nd down, a little bit less than 2 yards to go for the touchdown from that point. Copperas Cove threatening seriously here with a few minutes into the 4th quarter, and we have flags before the snap.
Well, I believe that may be against the Wildcats. I believe that time the quarterback used his voice inflection to draw the Wildcats offside.
That's what it's going to be, and they're going to mark it. It's going to be about a 3/4 yard penalty, but it's going to make it 2nd down and about 3/4 of a yard to go for the touchdown. The Copperas Cove Bulldogs inside the Temple 1-yard line with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left. The Temple Wildcat defense trying to make a big goal line stand and keep the Bulldogs out of the end zone for the first time tonight. Here's a give on a dive, and oh, what a great hit. But I believe number 20, yes, Frank Crothers, does fall forward over the goal line, and the Copperas Cove Bulldogs are on the board with 9 minutes and 11 seconds left in the 4th quarter.
Well, that was a great effort and a big hit by the Wildcats on that play.
And we'll see if the Bulldogs elect to go for the 2-point conversion. 9 minutes and 11 seconds left in the 4th quarter. They trail 37-6, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They come up to the line of scrimmage at the 3-yard line, of course, for a 2-point try. Man in motion, spread left. It looks like Whitney Cole is going to have it as he sprints left and dives over the goal line for the 2-point conversion. With 9 minutes and 11 seconds left in the ball game, Copperas Cove is driven 70-plus yards for a touchdown, and with the 2-point conversion, now trail the Temple Wildcats 37-8. We'll be back right after this.
G. Willie's now has the most exciting game in Central Texas. QB1, the interactive TV game where you play along during live professional and college football games and can compete for valuable prizes nationally. Large portions of great food and a lively and entertaining atmosphere sure to please the entire family. G. Willie's with the largest big screen TV in Central Texas and the only place you can play along with QB1, the interactive TV game. G. Willie's, just east of the Mall on the Loop, Temple.
Welcome back as the Temple Wildcats lead the Copperas Cove Bulldogs 37-8. We've got 9 minutes and 11 seconds still left in this one as the Copperas Cove Bulldog offense comes to life and drives the majority of the length of the field in for a touchdown, and then quarterback Whitney Cole sprints left for a 2-point conversion, dives over the end line, and puts point number 8 on the board. Number 31, Corky Rodriguez, tees it up for the Bulldogs, and the Wildcats have their onside kick off return team in, expecting an onside attempt. And we'll see if that doesn't transpire. And it is a squib kick, and it is knocked down by Michael Moffitt and fallen on. A good play after knocking the ball down, getting possession of it. And the Wildcats will take over at their own 43-yard line.
That was a fine play by Michael Moffitt. He almost looked like a shortstop on that play, knocking the ball down and then just laying on top of it. It was really kind of a line drive type onside kick.
And now it's number 16. That's Warwick Vaughn's in at quarterback as he gives to number 30, Neville Malone. And it's a good gain out to close to midfield. And that's a gain of almost 6. It's 2nd down and 4 for the Wildcats at the 49. Quarterback Warwick Vaughn's, number 16, in to lead the Wildcats. And he's under center. Tracy Ball split wide left. Danny Magana right. The give again to Malone. He's going to gain 2 yards before being knocked down. That's number 62, Austin Ledger.
Well, I think you'll see the Wildcats try to pound the football up the middle.
We've got 8 minutes and 22 seconds left. The Wildcats try to run the ball, kill the clock, and wrap this one up and keep their eyes and ears pointed north to see what's happening up in Waco tonight between the district-leading Clean Kangaroos and the Waco Lions. 3rd down and just about 1 yard. This to give to Malone. He's got the first down easily, and he's inside the 40, down to the 39. 1st and 10, Temple Wildcats from the Cove 39-yard line.
Well, that's Neville got loose in the secondary that time. That's got to be a real challenge for a defensive back to come up and take on a 215-pound fullback. Great job. Neville slid to the outside, picking up the first down. The Wildcats offensive line doing an outstanding job right now.
That'll make it 1st and 10 for the Wildcats as they come up to the line of scrimmage. Here's the bootleg by Vaughn to the left side. He's going to throw, and it's going to be incomplete, intended for Tracy Ball. Incomplete. That'll make it 2nd down. That'll stop the clock. We've got 7 minutes and 22 seconds left in the ball game. Well, it's been a game that the Wildcats really needed. They've been through quite a stretch, quite a schedule, non-district, then starting district with the Waco High Lions, and then the defending Division I state champion Clean Kangaroos. And it's Malone again up the middle. He's got the first down inside the 30, or he's going to be very close. It depends where they mark the ball. He had...
Neville is running north and south tonight.
They're going to mark it just a little bit short for Neville. That'll make it 3rd down. And I would probably venture to say that Neville will get a chance to get this first down. 3rd down and less than the yard. Malone with the carry. He's up inside the 25 down to about the 22-yard line. That is a first down for the Wildcats. They continue to move the ball. Now at the inside the Cove 25, 1st and 10. About the 22.5-yard line with 6 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Fine job by the offensive line. Chris Korn is in there, number 57.
And Warwick Vaughn gives again to Malone. And the Copperas Cove Bulldogs have it figured out this time. He gains a yard or 2 down to about the 20. Inside 6 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Temple on top 37-8 in this 1992 homecoming game against the Copperas Cove Bulldogs.
Also Richard Abel, number 63, in there on the offensive line.
Second down and 8. It gives again to Malone, and he barrels his way down close to the 15. Mark it at about the 16-yard line. That'll be short. He'll still need about 4 yards for the first down. The Wildcats on a very impressive ball control drive have marched it down to the 16-yard line of the Copperas Cove Bulldogs, where they face a third down and 3 yards needed for the first down. And here's the play, and here's the boot. Warwick Vaughn's left. He has a man open. It's complete. And that is Darrell Smith with the reception, picking up the first down and down inside the 5-yard line. Good execution by the entire offensive football team on the field now for those Temple Wildcats. A great ball control, a great possession drive, and they have it first and goal at the Cove 3-yard line.
Fine throw by Warwick Vaughn. A great catch by Darrell Smith. Execution is just extremely sharp on this drive.
And first and goal give to Malone. He barrels over the right side, and he's going to be awfully close. Maybe just a half a yard short with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in this one.
Mike Coyle, number 58, in there at center for the Wildcats.
That'll make it second down in just a little bit. An official timeout. Got an injured Bulldog, and he's helped to the sideline. And they start the clock again with 3 minutes and 56 seconds left. Second down and less than a yard for a Temple touchdown. Quarterback Warwick Vaughn's underneath the center. Mike Cole, and he bootlegs to the right. He's going to tuck it, and he's going to take it in. That's a touchdown by Warwick Vaughn, number 16. He puts point number 43 on the board for the Temple Wildcats tonight.
Great decision by Warwick Vaughn to keep the football, and also a fine block by Richard Abel on the play, number 63, to keep contact with his man so he couldn't have a clean shot on Warwick.
Well, that was just a great possession, ball control, execution was excellent, precise, as the Wildcats drive the length of the field. The point after attempt by Magana is going to be just a little bit off to the right. It's no good. So the Wildcats jump up to a 43-8 lead. 3 minutes and 41 seconds left in the fourth quarter. We'll take a break and be back right after this.
The GMC Safari is already loaded with the largest standard V6 in its class and four-wheel anti-lock brakes. And now, we've dropped in a few extras, like reclining seats, air conditioning, available front and rear, a killer stereo, Scotch Guard, tinted glass, and lots more. Now, how do we load you into a Safari? With this limited-time cashback offer.
See Jim Tranum, Cleo Bay, or Bolton McLaren today.
Welcome back, folks. For the final 3 minutes and 41 seconds of this one, the Temple Wildcats on top 43-8. And the Temple Wildcat offense is just drifting the length of the field in a ball control possession drive. Quite impressive in execution, in sharpness, in intensity. And they go up 43-8 with 3 minutes and 41 seconds left.
Well, we said at the start of the ball game this was going to be a three-game set for the rest of the season to see who makes the playoffs, and it looks like the Wildcats have taken care of the first game of this three-game set.
Ricky Flakes with the return. He's got a little bit of a seam, and he's going to be wrapped up, though. It closes awfully quick by the Temple kickoff return team, which has done an outstanding and excellent job tonight on special teams, limiting the return yardage by the Bulldogs. They'll mark it at the 21-yard line, where the Copperas Cove Bulldogs will have it. 1st and 10 into the game Again comes Chris Altum at quarterback. They'll line up.
Well, I wonder if Tim Alexander feels like he's on an island out there by himself.
Yeah.
They've got him spread way out across the field.
It's a pretty good split. That sure is. They're going to run it up the middle, and it's going to be a short game, maybe a yard. That's number 24, Sean Smith, the 155-pound senior running back for the Bulldogs. He's met by a host of blue front and white back pant defenders. And that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 9. Wildcat offense tonight, again, over the 300-yard mark. In total offense, a good outing by the offense. The defense doing an outstanding job also. A good overall performance by this Temple Wildcat team. Number 35, that is Jason Reese. Defensive end smothering Sean Smith for a loss of 4 yards on the play. And that'll make it 3rd down and about 13 with 2.5 minutes left in this one. Well, it's been a steady performance, both offensively and defensively for the Wildcats tonight, as they tune up. Alton sprints right and throws deep, and he's going to throw it over everybody's head. That was the old Hail Mary falls incomplete with 2 minutes and 7 seconds left, and that's 4th down. And the Wildcat defense is held, and the defense has done an outstanding job tonight, Mark. They really have.
They've done a great job. Of course, the Wildcats next week will face a big challenge going into play Colleen Ellison in Colleen.
The defense has progressed steadily over the past 3 or 4 weeks, improving each week, and of course, and we've got another, and as he gets it off, that was a good job by Cole. Got a flag down on the play, may have too many men on the field by one team or the other. It's thrown by the back judge.
Well, that was a fine athletic move to get the kickoff. I believe you're right, Gordon. I believe they've thrown a flag, and I believe the Cove Bulldogs may get a chance to take possession of the football on offense.
Well, they're talking about it, and they're going to discuss it, and they're going to call an ineligible substitution, illegal substitution by the Temple Wildcats. And that may carry with it a 1st down, and it does. It's a 15-yard penalty against the Wildcats. And that'll be a 1st down for the Copperas Cove Bulldogs. The Temple defense will have to come back out on the field with 1 minute and 59 seconds left in the ball game. 1st down and 10. Here's the dive, and a good tackle, a good hit.
I believe that was Noah Dunham, number 51 for the Wildcats, with a big hit at the line of scrimmage.
Clock continues to roll now. It's 1 minute and 40 seconds left in week number 8 as the Temple Wildcats looking to extend their regular season record to 7-1 and their district record to 2-1, and look to the outcome of the Waco High and the Clean High football game being played tonight to see what the District 13 5A race will look like going into week 9.
Well, I know Coach McQueen and the Wildcats would love to have a chance to get a share of that district crown, and of course tonight would more than likely throw things into a 3-way tie for 1st place, or a 4-way tie for 1st place.
That is, if Ellison can knock off Bryan tonight, Ellison will be back right in the thick of things, Mark, and make it a very big game next week in Killeen. Here's a pass from Altum intended for number 6, Pershing. Boy, what a great play. That's Temple's number 49, Tim Alexander, on a great defensive play, getting an arm in right at the last minute and knocking the ball away with 44 seconds left. The Wildcat defense will force another Copperas Cove punt. And you know, we talked about it just briefly, but the Ellison Eagles have a real potent offensive football team. They've not done too well up until a couple of weeks ago, or last week actually. They have a 1-1 district record also. Am I not correct?
That's correct, Gordon, and they are second in the district in total offense. They have a very strong offensive team.
Boy, I tell you, the Wildcat rush on the on the punt return has been unbelievable tonight. That was good pressure by the Wildcats, forcing Whitney Cole to take a sidestep to avoid having the point block, still gets it off, and Damian Johnson making a great catch on a short punt will...
Big pressure that time. I believe it was Dana President.
First and 10 for the Wildcats with 33 seconds left from their own 40-yard line. And this could be the last play of the game, and it looks like it will be. Quarterback Ward Vaughn takes 2 steps back, takes the knee, and with 25 seconds left, the referee will not set the clock in time for the 25-second clock to be a factor, and this one will be over in 15 seconds.
Well, the Wildcats will be looking for great fan support next week as they travel to Killeen. And then for the final ball game will be the Bryan Vikings back here in Wildcat Stadium.
And that'll wrap it up. The clock runs out on this one, and the Wildcats, the number 4 ranked Temple Wildcats, have scored a victory in this 1992 homecoming game. They win this one over the Copperas Cove Bulldogs 43-8. So on behalf of myself and Mark Germstead and the crew from Laura Communications, we'll be back to wrap this one up in just a moment.
Cafe on the Square in Georgetown is a very special place. People from all over Central Texas enjoy the unique atmosphere and delicious food. After a hard day, Cafe on the Square is a great place to relax for dinner. Choose from a variety of beautifully prepared entrees, including steak, seafood, and pasta. The Sunday buffet is special at Cafe on the Square. For brunch or Sunday dinner, all your favorite dishes are prepared and served with Cafe's own original charm. Cafe on the Square in Georgetown. There's just no place like it.
What's different about King Saver?
We're your hometown grocer.
And you can depend on us for the freshest meats and produce in town at famous King Saver prices.
Special cut of meat, no problem.
You're the king at King Saver, so we offer check cashing, money orders, and next-day film developing.
And custom party trays.
And at King Saver, you can rent the latest first-run movies at the best price in town. Remember, when you want fresh for less, stay with your hometown grocer, King Saver, in Temple and Killeen.
You know, I've earned the trust of these kids and their parents, and I look to people that I can trust for my will, life insurance, and recently a prearranged funeral program. I chose the people that this community has trusted for years. By planning ahead, my family is protected financially and emotionally. Trust. That's what it's all about.
For more information or our free prearrangement guide, call Harper Tolasic Funeral Home. Harper Tolasic, the wiser choice.
It's taken nearly 80 years for the automobile industry to create one of the most frustrating experiences of a lifetime, buying a new car, and only a couple of months for Johnson Brothers Ford to change it. It's gone from an annoying game of wondering what the dealer is really willing to sell the car for, to walking the lot, seeing the discounted prices on the windshield, picking your color and options, and taking it home knowing you got the same great price as your neighbor. It's called one pricing, and it'll change the way you think about buying a new car, and only Johnson Brothers Ford has it.
Well, the Temple Wildcats have bounced back into the win column tonight with a 43-8 victory over the Copperas Cove Bulldogs in homecoming 1992. Well, the District 13 5A race could be interesting after tonight. The Wildcats, of course, move into a 2-1 record and could be joined there by a host of other District 13 5A members. The Ellison Eagles have a chance to be 2-1 after tonight. If Waco High beats the Killeen High Kangaroos, they will both be 2-1 after tonight, and this will really set up an important district meeting next week against the Ellison Eagles for the Temple Wildcats.
Well, the Ellison Eagles is going to be a very big ball game for the Temple Wildcats. Ellison has an outstanding offensive football team. They're number 2 overall in offense in the district. They have the number 1 passer in the district, and he's state ranked. They have the number 2 rusher and the number 2 receiver. So they are a great offensive football team.
Will definitely be a challenge. Let's talk a little bit about tonight's game. The Wildcats got back that intensity level that they were looking for. Both offensively and defensively played an outstanding game tonight.
Well, they really did, Gordon, and all through the ball game, they seemed to be able to maintain that intensity level. They had a great drive toward the end of the ball game with about 4 minutes left that ate up a good portion of the clock and just played extremely well the entire ball game.
They really did. They jumped out to a 30-0 halftime advantage, kept the intensity up for a good 43-8 victory here at Wildcat Stadium. So we're looking forward to the District 13 5A race. We have 2 weeks left in this 1992 season. We're looking forward to what the Wildcats have left in store for this season as we travel to Killeen Ellison next week for an important District 13 5A game. So for everyone here, Mark Germstead, Gordon Marshall, the cast, or the crew from Laura Communications, we'll see you next week in Killeen. So long, everybody.